Good morning, I'm Craig DeGrelli. It's Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025, and these are your unbiased updates. We now know when Pope Francis will be laid to rest, the weekend funeral in Rome, and the lead-up to the sacred send-off. And Pete Hegseth, hanging in there, calls for the defense secretary to resign increase because of a Signal group chat about military strikes that supposedly involved his family members. Who's questioning his leadership and what the president said?
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world, these are today's Unbiased Updates.
New this morning, the Vatican has announced funeral services for Pope Francis will be held this Saturday, April 26th. The College of Cardinals says the public viewing of Pope Francis will begin Wednesday in St. Peter's Basilica after his casket is taken by procession from the Apostolic Palace where he lived. His funeral is now set for Saturday at 10 a.m. in St. Peter's Square. Per his request, Francis will be buried in a simple tomb in Basilica of St. Mary Major outside the Vatican walls. President Donald Trump announced Monday night he and First Lady Melania will attend the funeral. Meantime, Kevin Farrell, a cardinal from the United States, has become the acting head of the Vatican. Cardinals are gathering in Rome to elect Francis's successor. Many will be arriving today from all over the world. It's a process that typically takes between 2 and 3 weeks. There are 135 cardinals under the age of 80 who are eligible to vote. They're expected to begin the process known as the conclave in early to mid-May at the Sistine Chapel. Pope Francis died at the age of 88 after suffering a stroke that led to heart failure. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth is now facing calls to resign from within his own party after it was revealed he took part in a second Signal chat discussing American plans to strike at Houthi rebels in Yemen. Nebraska Congressman Don Bacon, a retired military officer and prominent Republican on the House Armed Services Committee, told Political in an interview, quote, "I had concerns from the get-go because Pete Hegseth didn't have a lot of experience. I like him on Fox, but does he have the experience to lead one of the largest organizations in the world? That's a concern." Bacon added that if reports are true about Hegseth's use of Signal, it's unacceptable, and he wouldn't tolerate it if he were in charge. Straight Arrow News reporter Lauren Keenan shows us how the Trump administration is responding to the new report.
The White House is looking to replace Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, according to one U.S. official who spoke anonymously with NPR. Hegseth is under fire for allegedly creating a Signal group chat with family members, including his wife, brother, and personal lawyer, detailing strikes on Houthi rebels in Yemen back in March. It also came to light last month that in another Signal chat, Hegseth shared U.S. military operations with a group of senior U.S. officials, which also included a journalist with The Atlantic. Signal is a free open-source messaging app that offers end-to-end encrypted texts, calls, video chats, and group messages. Critics, including Democratic lawmakers, are calling for Hegseth's resignation, citing concerns over national security and the mishandling of classified information. Hegseth responded to the media reports when taking part in the Easter activities at the White House Monday morning.
You know, what a big surprise that a few leakers get fired and suddenly a bunch of hit pieces come out from the same media that peddled the Russia hoax.
The Pentagon has been investigating internal leaks, which has led to the dismissal of senior officials, Dan Caldwell and Darren Selnick, and the resignations of top Pentagon spokesperson John Elliott, as well as Hegseth's chief of staff Joe Casper. In response to the NPR article, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt posted to X saying, "This NPR story is total fake news based on one anonymous source who clearly has no idea what they are talking about." As the president said this morning, he stands strongly behind the Secretary of Defense. On Monday, President Trump told reporters, "Pete's doing a great job. Everybody's happy with him."
That was our Lauren Keenan reporting. Congressman Bacon said in a post on X that senior Trump administration officials must assume their phones are closely monitored by China and Russia, saying they're top priority targets. He added, quote, "Our adversaries can put thousands of people in position just to monitor their phones and to penetrate perceived secure applications on non-secure phones." Harvard University is suing the Trump administration, setting the stage for a legal showdown that could take years and end up in the U.S. Supreme Court. The lawsuit comes after the federal government froze $2.2 billion in grants. Harvard accuses the government of seeking unprecedented and improper control of American colleges and universities. In a statement Monday, Harvard's president claimed, quote, the consequences of the government's overreach will be severe and long-lasting, end quote. The Ivy League university is accusing the administration of ignoring the First Amendment and other federal laws and regulations. It is asking a federal judge in Massachusetts to declare the president's funding cutoff unconstitutional. Last week, the Trump administration announced it was freezing federal funding after the school refused to accept demands the administration claims are meant to address anti-Semitism on campus. Among the government's demands are an audit of student body views and a ban on international students who are hostile to American values and institutions. The Columbia University graduate student who is in custody in Louisiana and could be deported for leading anti-Israel demonstrations on the Columbia campus last year is now a father. The wife of Mahmoud Khalil gave birth to a baby boy in New York Monday. Khalil was not there for the birth. The federal government alleges that Khalil, who was born in Syria and is in the U.S. as a legal permanent resident, is a national security risk. An immigration judge in Louisiana sided with the government and ruled he can be deported. Lawyers for Khalil are now appealing. His wife, Noor Abdallah, released a statement saying Immigration and Customs Enforcement refused to allow Khalil to travel to New York for the birth of their son, saying, quote, ICE and the Trump administration have stolen these precious moments from our family in an attempt to silence Mahmoud's support for Palestinian freedom. The years of payments put on hold for many American student loan borrowers are soon coming to an end. The Trump administration says it will resume collections on defaulted federal student loans May 5th. And after a required 30-day notice to borrowers, wage garnishment will begin later this summer. No federal student loan has been referred to collections since March of 2020, when the Education Department paused federal student loan payments and collections during the COVID-19 pandemic. As of the end of 2024, about 5.5 million borrowers were in default. Education Department officials said Monday less than half of borrowers are current on their student loans. The department says borrowers will be encouraged to enroll in income-driven repayment programs or participate in loan rehabilitation, among other options. Finally, the NHL playoffs are underway, with hockey's holy grail, the Stanley Cup, the big prize that will go to the team that wins 4 series and 16 games in about 2 months. In Washington, the magical year for Alex Ovechkin continues. Just weeks after breaking Wayne Gretzky's record for most goals ever in the NHL, Ovechkin scored his first game-winning overtime goal as the Capitals defeated the Montreal Canadiens 3-2 in the first game of their first-round series. Ovechkin, who is in his 20th season, took a pass from Anthony Beauvillier and fired it home. It was his second goal of the game as the Capitals won Game 1. What a leader. He is full of passion. Those are your unbiased updates for this Tuesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. For all of us here at Straight Arrow News, I'm Craig DeGrelli. Have a great day.